He kept the letter in the same drawer for decades, folded so many times the paper had become thin as breath. People saw the billionaire, the founder, the genius of an age. But no one ever saw the piece of paper that trembled between his fingers every time he opened that drawer. It was the only thing he never digitized, never scanned, never shared. It was written in his neat, young handwriting, a letter to the woman who had taught him to dream, and whom he never properly thanked. He used to tell audiences that success begins with courage. Yet whenever he looked at that letter he felt like a coward, because he had never found the courage to send it. The words inside were small, simple, human. They said things money could never translate. He wrote it on a night filled with silence, long before the world knew his name. The office lights were off, the computers slept. And he sat at a wooden desk staring at the blinking cursor of an empty screen. He thought about calling her, but pride and distance and schedules stood between them. So he reached for paper instead. His mother had always believed letters could heal what voices could not. He began, "Mom, I don't know how to explain the noise inside my head." He wrote about exhaustion, about how every success seemed smaller when she wasn't there to see it. He wrote about childhood mornings when she woke him with soft knocks on the door. About how she believed in him when no one else did, about how he sometimes hated her for pushing him so hard, and how he finally understood why she did. The words spilled out until his eyes blurred. For the first time in years he wasn't the man on magazine covers. He was just a son trying to find his mother in memory. He folded the paper, placed it in an envelope, and promised himself he'd mail it tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Days turned into weeks, weeks into triumphs, triumphs into headlines. The company grew, the pressure grew faster. And the letter stayed behind, silent, waiting. Then one afternoon a phone call shattered everything. His mother was gone. The world that had seemed limitless suddenly shrank to a room too small for grief. Reporters called, partners waited for statements, projects demanded his attention, but he felt hollow. Like a machine whose power had been cut. The drawer, found the letter, and realized it would never reach her hands. That night he read it aloud to the empty air, whispering every line through tears he had trained himself never to show. He wasn't crying for the words, he was crying for all the moments between them, the birthdays missed, the dinners cancelled. The times he answered, "I'm busy," instead of, "I love you." He would have given every dollar he ever earned for one more chance to hear her say his name the way only she could, softly, proudly. As if the word itself was enough. But life doesn't refund time. It only teaches you how expensive it was. He carried the guilt quietly. People thought his calm was wisdom, his focus was genius. They didn't know it was grief disguised as control. Every keynote speech, every innovation, every applause was followed by a moment when he looked down and thought, "Mom, are you seeing this?" He built empires from logic and code, but nothing he built could answer that question. So he tried to give the world what he could no longer give her: kindness, opportunity, healing. Each act of charity was a sentence added to that unsent letter, a way to tell her, "I heard you, I understand now." Yet even now, after decades, he sometimes wakes at night, walks to the study, and opens that same drawer. The paper trembles in his aging hands. He reads the first line again, and for a few seconds, he's not the billionaire. Not the visionary, he's just a son whispering apologies to a ghost who loved him long before the world did.